Alright, hi everyone. Today's theme is about comparing some independent bottling of Bowmore and Laphroaig with bottles of mine, a sample of someone else, and going a bit back in my collection, and one re-review as well. What I'm gonna talk about is Morrison Scotch Whisky Distillers, an indie bottling company which goes back to 1982 under the name of John Murray and Company, founded by the Bartholomew family, which was living in Mull Island, where you have Bowmore Distillery, and the family owned business Morrison and Mackay is today one of the rare companies, as it is stated by them, in the whiskey industry still in the region of Perth. So we're talking about lowlands. Oops, yeah, the map is a bit remote, but it's down on the map, this map there. Whoops, don't know if I can get somewhere there. The company, it's a very long story. I'm not going to tell you now, maybe put some links, but today it's named Morrison Scotch Whisky Distillers since 2014. It was Morrison Mackay, but in 2005 the old directors of Morrison Bowmore Distillers, yes, there's a relationship with Bowmore, so Kenny Mackay and Rob Starling did bought the company along with the previous president of Morrison Bowmore Distillers, Brian Morrison, and his son Jamie Morrison. So they're in the whiskey industry for a long time. I work also, to put a long story short, with Peter Thompson, a blender from Perth, and Stanley Morrison. Morrison's father was the owner of Bowmore, Auchentoshan and Glengarry Distillery before they sell the three distilleries to Suntory in 1994. Now there's something else I gotta tell you, and so I'm gonna detail the brands they have. Yeah, first maybe. So these brands have been doing Scotch whisky liqueurs like Brew-a-Dar, which has Scottish honey and sloe berries, 24% ABV, but I also do blended whiskey such as the Rob Roy, yeah, same name as the hero, national hero, and a blended whiskey at 40%. They also do, and I will speak after that of my experience with the company during a tasting last year, a public tasting. So this company produces the Old Perth, which is a blended malt, mainly sherry matured. They also, I don't have any in my collection yet. I didn't choose for now to get one, but I tried only one. They also have the Carn Mor that we're going to try today, their Williamson, which is disclosed as a Laphroaig, in very small, but it is disclosed as a Laphroaig. See, with a Strictly Limited range, they have also another range called Celebration of the Cask. So yeah, so this range, we're gonna speak more about it, but don't worry. But this Carn Mor range is usually bottled at 47.5, so toned down, diluted down to what they consider an optimal ABV for decent experience, and always in small batches. They also have in the same brand Carn Mor the Celebration of the Cask, which are older whiskies and single cask whiskies and cask strength. Now in the Old Perth, to put a long story short, I did some research on the Old Perth range. They have the original, they have no age statement and they have age statement. In the original, which is 46% ABV, sherry cask matured, they have a cask strength that can vary of strength as I understand it, but I noted one at 58.6. They have a 12 years old. double sherry wood, vintage collection with a different. I'm not gonna detail the vintage now, of course. And age statement releases, I noted, for instance, a 20 years old with high strength, 20, 21, 23 years old, and even 22, and even 41 years old, which surprises me. They also have a blended grain. It's an exception, bottled in 1971, bottled in 2008 at 49.4. They have a blended grain Scotch whisky, I didn't know that, of 46 years old, ex-Bourbon cask. Now, on the special cask of the limited releases, they have Amontillado cask, Pedro Jimenez, Solera, Palo Cortado, Manzanilla, red wine finish, etc. So lots of choices, lots of stuff they propose. They also have a distillery. You can see it's very small, but they also have a distillery which was in the plans since 20. You can find the mention of the distillery in the Malt Whiskey Yearbook, where I took most of my infos about this one, but not about the company, not much about the company. 2014, the Morrison family planned to build a distillery on their farm. So it's in Aberargie. Aberargie, it's the name of the distillery. Sorry for the pronunciation. I'm not Scottish. In Perthshire, so Lowlands. So 2014, they got approval also for 2 separate buildings, the distillery and a blending and bottling hall. 2016, first trial of distilling, and first cask distilled in November 2017. So it's not there yet, as I understand it. So it belongs to the Perth Distilling Company, which is a subsidiary of Morrison Scotch Whisky Distillers. What is this distillery about? I don't know everything. I just know they have a 2-ton semi-lauter mash tun. They have 9 washbacks of stainless steel. They have huge steels, only 2, but the wash is 15,000 liters, and the spirit 10,000 liters. With as said on the distillery page, a steeply descending line arm. The stills are heated by panels instead of coils and pans. Not sure about that means, to be honest. They claim to do grain to glass whiskey, but while everything is made on site, the malting is not made there. They have an ambition to have a distillery capacity of 750,000 liters, which is a Springbank category. Even a Springbank is often lower nowadays than the maximum it can produce, around 500,000, if I understand well. Now, let me take. Hope you're well. It's here summer and rain, alternating heat and rain, so I still have the fan on, so sorry for the noise. I have to prepare the video, and in fact there was a cork change at last minute for the first bottle, which was not a good news because it's just a 1 year and it's started to behave bad, and also the bits coming in from the there. While it's a beautiful cork, too bad, of the first whiskey we're going to try, but it's not the best quality cork, I have to say. And I have to, in emergency, when I can, order other composites, not composite but silicone cork, which I show you later on. Because the cork broke while preparing the video. There's always something coming in. Anyways, back in November 2024, I had a tasting, at one of the 3 shops that belong to the same group of friends. This one was in the center of Paris at Laphroaig Mission, which is a bar and a retailer. There's more retailing stuff than bar stuff in there, but they do a bit both. And there was someone from Les Whiskies du Monde is the name of the French distributor, because before, a few years ago, we couldn't find any Old Perth, any Carn Mor, any Mac-Talla here, so it was a bit of difficult to hear good things about them and never be able to try. So anyway, we were presented 6 whiskies, right? Six whiskies. We had a cask strength Old Perth at 58.6, using Solera, and I think it was from 5 to 17 years old, not sure. Sherry Butts, cannot read it properly. Sherry Oloroso, it's a Speyside blend of malts. It was nice, but a tad too oaky for me and not mind-boggling, so I didn't bought it, though it was a decent whiskey. Of course, it's a one try, so it's always difficult to make a decision. Then in the Carn Mor range, we had 1, 2, 3 whiskies. We had, interesting because it's rare, a Dalmanac 6 years old, from 3 cask, ex-Bourbon cask. Was nice. I did a report, if you're interested about this, on my community page, YouTube, written page, not video, and on Instagram. So yeah, it was nice, but not outstanding, and obviously young, and obviously a blend filler, let's say this. Then we had a 10 years old Glenkeith, which was not bad, a bit oaky for me, but again, all these American oak, all these were 47.5, and last but not least, this Williamson, 9 years old, so Laphroaig, and this stood out for me, so I bought it, I'm gonna review it. Same for the one of the 2 Mac-Talla we tried, which is a special range about Islay Single-Malt whiskies. So I tried the Oloroso limited release there, and I fell in love with it, so I bought it. I'm gonna review it now. And then we tried another very good one, but I cannot buy everything that's out, money-wise too. It was the Mara at 58.2, ex-Bourbon, and we along knowledge statement like the Oloroso, and I honestly, we spent all the evening after that. I went to eat with a French whiskey lover I met there, and we discussed during all the tasting and after, what was this Mac-Talla Mara, because it's undisclosed. Was it Bunnahabhain or a Kulila? We couldn't tell. Honestly, it was very hard to tell. But there you have it. Now it's time for real bottles and real samples. So I'm gonna kick off, like Chris says, Chris Goodrum, another channel I'd like to recommend to you, not known enough. We're gonna start with this Carn Mor, which has a nice, I think that I like the this kind of separated, and it's shocking at first look, but the design, don't know what Jeff from Jeff Whiskey will make of it, but I think I have to say I like the design. So bottled at 47.5. It's called Williamson, but it's giving away Laphroaig. Why Williamson? Because Bessie Williamson, Peter Walker. Bessie Williamson was one of the rare women running a distillery in the 20th century, such a prestigious distillery, I mean, for several decades. If you want to know more about Bessie Williamson, you know what to do. I'm going to put a link in the description to one of the videos. I did two videos about women in whiskey. So if you want to know everything about her, you have to go there. This is this Laphroaig, 9 years old, is a Hogshead, so reconstituted cask with some staves that were injured and they were replaced by new ones. It's 250 liters classically. 4 casks, so 1,1798 bottles, bottled in 2023. Non-chill filtered, no added color, that's great. 47.5. The back label doesn't give much except some tasting notes. You can see, I'm trying not to, and you have, yeah, close to Bordeaux, you have the address of the French importer there. You know me, a bit fetishist, but also I like to protect my whiskey, so it comes with a box like this. Not saying too much, except there you see just saying it's non-chill filtered, blah blah blah. But it's a nice one. I'm gonna compare it to a sample from Menno, Malty Mission. Thanks, man. We did exchange a lot of samples recently, so it's a 7 years old. Bottled by the whiskey shop in its Loch Fyne range at 53% ABV, 2023 release as well. Then I'm gonna compare it, even if comparison is no reason, as some say, with the Quarter Cask, 48%. It's the closest I can find from this. Then of course we're gonna go with the Mac-Talla Oloroso, which I'm gonna compare to two whiskies that wasn't planned, Bowmore Laimrig, and then Bowmore 1994, 14 years old, from Barry Bros, which cork broke. Anyway, let's get back to this. Yes, it's gonna be a long video, but you know me. I couldn't just review the Laphroaig, this Williamson, and then the Bowmore, the Mac-Talla, and that's it. I don't know, I cannot. Again, as usual, you'll have time chapters in the description, and while you browse in it, you can see them if you just want to know what I think of this and what I think of the Mac-Talla, right? So you're free for a short or longer experience. It's up to you. Right, so what is this again? Williamson stated Laphroaig in small letters, 9 years old, 2013 vintage, 2023, but probably 1 month is missing, so they cannot say 10 years old. 4 casks, it's 1798 bottles, non-chill filtered, non-colored, Hogsheads were used. I have to say I'm in France. And to be really honest, I'm always honest, but I don't know why I say this formula. I mean, I have to rant 2 seconds about the pricing. Okay, it's a small retailing shop, etc. But when I saw this online abroad, even in UK, at 70-80 pounds or less, and around 70-80 euros in Germany, I said, oh, come on. This was sold 113, 113 euros in French, 113 euros in France, and I think it's too much. So I waited, I didn't want to buy it first, I hesitated. The Mac-Talla was a standout, so I bought it immediately in this tasting evening, which was less expensive than this one, and it's ranked higher. But yeah, you know, should be less expensive in France, seriously. I don't have the price of the 7 years old Loch Fyne version. Forgot to ask Menno about it. Probably it's less expensive, but usually, I'm not sure about that. Correct me, Menno, if I'm wrong. It comes in 50 cl bottles, so we'll see that later on. Not always, but right. So what can I say about it? Let me take. Can't believe it's 20 minutes already, but I try to inform you, folks. Okay, it's very pale, it's very clear, so we can. It says Hogshead, but it lived some time its life. Legs are sticking a lot. It's non-chill filtered, so obviously, even if it's only 9 years old, the legs are sticking quite some time in it. It has more than half an hour to breathe because I had to replace the corks, the cork, and find another cork for this one. Again, the original cork is like this with the M Scotch Whisky Distillers, and also it's noted there. Very nice. I chose a pretty standard one to replace it. which that fits completely, but I mean the size, but on the nose. So this one felt very nice at the tasting, and when I opened the bottle, and even the 2, 3, 4 first pours was quite aggressive. So I was a bit put off, and I said, wow, why did I bought that? And then it started to open up very nicely. I haven't tried it for probably 4 or 5 months. It's way gentler now. Now, bearing in mind, please, it's 4 casks, while for the quarter cask I'm going to compare it with, it's probably way more cask. I don't know how many, but probably 100 or 40, 80, 400 or more. Because, I mean, it's widely distributed, right? So, less wide than the 10, of course. Okay, so it's not super medicinal. You're gonna see that the 10 years old is more medicinal than this. Like, often the bottlings are different. Even it's 4 casks, it's still a very small amount of casks. There's some brine, there's some salt, there's some licorice already. There's some, the black pepper is prominent, and it also comes across as just crushed black pepper, so very fresh. There's some, still a bit medicinal. It's a nice nose, but I'm a bit, it's I would say ex-Bourbon. It's Hogshead, but comes across as a very sharp bourbon cask, which is displaying bit of oak and spice, but not much fruit. It's my regret, and not enough aniseed for me already on the nose. But it has a very nice maritime, typical Laphroaig style. What did I wrote else on the on my tasting sheet? So I wrote, yeah, the fact that there's still a bit citric side and candied fruit, vanilla, sugar, some grapefruit, the slightly maritime aspects, not much salt. I noted quite something like sharp, right? Let's see how it translates to the palate. Sanjeva. Yeah, forgot to mention, very mineral. Yeah, it's one of the most mineral Laphroaig I came across lately. I think mineral, black pepper, maritime, more than medicinal are probably the key words for this. Not gonna dilute it right away, because I'm gonna compare it with the sample. Or should I? Okay. For time chapter 6, I have to play the game, but I will dilute it afterwards. The second Williamson, because the ABV is higher, so it should have more time, but I've tried it a lot of times this, so I noted down, yeah, a few things. I will tell you if I found them again. Yeah, this is better for me with a few drops. I get the aniseed, or a bit of star anise in the middle of the two, let's say a bit of two, vanilla, and a bit of trace of what is this? Oh, slightly petrol-y, and yeah, star anise is badiane in French, so it's more aniseed than star anise, to be honest. But it gets more gentle, it gets more approachable, like maybe a naked version of the quarter cask. But we're gonna see how it behaves. So this was for the first whiskey, but we're gonna go back to it. Now let's try this, which is gently provided by Menno from Malty Mission, highly recommended blog. I won't take notes for this one, but I'll keep a few in the sample to talk more about, to judge it more, review it more, assess it more. Color wise, yeah, I wanted just to show you while we're at this. I used to have some time ago, it's no longer now, but when I was going more at the whiskey shop, here you can see it's not exactly the same references, but the shape of the design, the Loch Fyne, they have the living cask program, which is something else, but yeah, so you have this, you can see the look of these, the bottles. I'm not 100% sure, usually they're a bit expensive, but I'm not 100% sure they come into 50 cl or 70 cl. Again, Menno, please correct me, forgot to ask. But yeah, this is young, this is 7 years old instead of 9 years old, but it's bottle 2023, exact same color, same, maybe, yeah, same legs, same length. Let's see on the nose. So this is, I'm not 100% sure, or let me check. No, doesn't say single cask. So again, probably a few casks. After 53%, so almost 6% more, it comes across as almost exactly the same nose. So yeah, and the same nose, so not much to say. Let's see on the palate, neat and then diluted, and then compare it with the 9. Wow. I would say it's 80%, 70 plus % the same experience. Maybe just gonna add a bit more to dilute it. So a bit surprised, I was expecting maybe a variation in profile. There's something more rounded, even at 53%. That almost suggests, weirdly, because it's an ex-Bourbon cask, almost something bit acidulous and rounded, as if there was, let's say, 20% of wine cask. So it's weird. It does not have. Difficult with this tiny etiquette labels. With a bit of water. Gonna go back and forth with a 9 years old. Yeah, maybe thinner and less complex. It's good, but maybe a bit thinner and less complex, especially with water. Let's get back to the 9 years old and see if I'm going to change its score. So difficult. So difficult. Okay, the 9 years old diluted. Yeah, it's more, has something that's more accomplished for me. Is it the 2 years more? Maybe. Or is it that they select 4 casks that have more differences on the individuality, should we say? But yeah, you're pretty much 70% or less now. I would say 60% maybe the same background. Yeah, it's weird. It's something maybe slightly sour acidic. On the second ground, it's not obvious. That diminishes the. This is very paradoxical because bourbon versus Hogsheads, and normally the bourbon should showcase more vanilla and maybe some fruit, and it's the other way around. I'm very surprised. So yeah. Now going back to this, if you wonder how much I rated, not sure I'm gonna change the score, but I rated it 90 of the 100. And I don't feel like changing it now, to be honest. So gonna keep it like that. So do I recommend it? Yes, certainly. Do I recommend it at 113 euros? No. Unless you don't have any indie bottling of Laphroaig in your collection and you need something different from the official ones, and you have a deep pocket, yeah, go for it. It's a beautiful whiskey. Now, if you're a bit tight on your budget, your money, you have to be careful. I would say don't buy it this price and buy it in Benelux and Germany. Somewhere you can find it 78 euros. It's fully worth of it for this price. It's not fully worth, it's not very English, but anyway, what did I plan to do initially? Honestly, I struggled with this video because I didn't know how to present it. I'm doing this, I'm recording this while I still don't know what the title of the video will be, because it's too long. So Morrison Scotch Whisky Distillers comparing Laphroaig to Mac-Talla, blah blah blah. It's too long, so I don't know how it will come across. Maybe I will do a little joke, I don't know. Yeah, I also wanted to start with it's too long, with a tribute to Ozzy, and I forgot, so I was going to say, I am a whiskey man. Dum 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 dum. Here's for you, man. What should I say? Ozzy, yeah, left us. Now from Ozzy to Laphroaig, it's a bit daring. It's a bit osé, as we say in French. Yeah, it's an old one. Yeah, of course, it's more casks. Yeah, it's caramel colored, but it's non-chill filtered. And yes, it's from 2012 bottling, but there's always a but. Sherry Butts. I did try last year, so see, I'm trying to do things seriously. I did try the Laphroaig Quarter Cask, the latest release, 2024, at a different, at a public show, at a whiskey show in Paris, and I did found almost the same profile. So kudos to Laphroaig for being able to maintain such a high quality for what is for me the real flagship instead of the 10 years old reduced. The real flagship of the distillery for me is this one. Sorry, this is the one you should go for. I'm sorry, I bought it for 48 euros in 2013. It's more or less 50, 60 now. 100% worth of it. The comparison is a bit difficult because, like I said, it's a bigger number of casks, but the Laphroaig Williamson bottle I have is 9 years old, 47.5. This one is not disclosed, but I know there's probably an array of 6 to 10 or more years old, plus it's 48%. There's still little relevancy doing this. Now, of course, it's a bit darker with the caramel color, but legs are sticking. It's not chill filtered. Nose. Gorgeous, of course, more rounded, but more casks, and also bit more medicinal, more vanilla. It's so Quarter Cask, if I remember correctly. I have all the casks capacity somewhere, but it's remote now. I think it's contrarily to what people thinks. It's not 60 liters. It's around 100 or 120. So it's fake Quarter Cask if you compare it to a bourbon cask, 180 to 220. So it's a bit above 100 liters. So it's still the contact is still big. It's not octave. It's not 48, 60 liters, stuff like that. So thank God, if I may say, it is not over oaky and spicy. Nose is beautiful, it's gorgeous, super balanced, complex, maritime, bit of fruit, citrus fruit, vanilla, sweet spices. Didn't talk much about the spices, or I did. It doesn't have the same feeling of minerality and black pepper in the front. Palate. There's something green, herbal, maritime, wet cask stuff that is not in most of the indie bottlings of Laphroaig. I tried a lot over the years, but it gives its charm as well. Now, of course, the bottle, even if I pump the air, is open for a long time, so it's less concentrated. The one I tried in 2024 is very concentrated and pretty much a turbo version of this one. But this is still beautiful, and I love it. I'm gonna shock the molecules and shake the flavors with a few drops to make it get alive. This is one of the reasons I open it up, and you should do the same. Everybody's free, of course, but just saying. Yeah, see the maritime notes, the iodine, the mercurochrome. If you prefer the hospital corridor, I know the UK people said TCP. I don't know what it's TCP. I only know corridor smell. You know, I know the bandages. There are all the things that are the products they use in hospitals. They have a certain smell, and you can find a bit in Laphroaig, especially the official ones. Yeah, so there's something green slash not papery or cardboardy, but very hard to describe. It's typically Laphroaig. I would call it wet casks, most of everything else. Yeah, interesting herbal, botanical notes, and bit more of the vanilla, some lemon cream, but it's very discreet. It's not acidic, it's sugared, but very pleasant. It's so beautiful. It's a 90 plus, easily, if not more, Laphroaig. So we were in the south of the Isle of Islay, where you have Laphroaig or Ardbeg Laphroaig, like Evelyn. And now we're gonna go more in the middle. I don't know if we can. The map, there's too much light, so we were there in the south of Islay, and now we're going somewhere there in Bowmore in the center. Well, now disclaimer. I cannot guarantee you 100% that this Mac-Talla Islay Single-Malt Scotch Whisky, undisclosed, contrarily to partly disclosed, or disclosed but in small, Williamson, I cannot guarantee you 100% that this is a Bowmore. At the tasting, I had no doubt, but afterwards, opening the bottle, I started to have doubts with maybe Bunnahabhain or Lagavulin. But because some typical Bowmore notes were missing, but let's say the 70% plus chances, I'm starting to feel the heat and the alcohol, that it could be a Bowmore. So what is this range? And forgive me if I forgot what Mac-Talla means at this time. Maybe it's disclosed there, I'm not sure. No. And sometimes I think also this is a beautiful packaging, but it's a bit you don't read much easily what's written on the white on orange or so. You see in unsheffielted natural color, this is fantastic. 54.8 Oloroso. So what is this? This is a single malt. This is limited edition 2024. They tend to change casks type in every release, yearly release. So I know there was a wine cask that was succeeding. That was after this one. Yeah, I speak French, so I think French sometimes because I'm French. They're always small batches, and in the Mac-Talla range limited edition, they're always high strength. Doesn't say cask strength. This one is 54.8% ABV. This one is made of 12 sherry butts, giving more or less 5,000 bottles. I'm not sure about the numbers. The price was 106 euros at Laphroaig Caviste bar retailers in 2024. I waited to, this is an opaque bottle, but you can see the level is there. For the both bottles, I wanted to wait to make sure it had enough air to really open up the bottle, because I felt the experience was different than on the tasting, so I needed time with them. That's why I didn't review them, even if I did post notes again on my social and community page. I didn't want to review this in video before now. Let's say there's a long list of whiskies that should be reviewed, but so I'm going to compare this, supposing it's a Bowmore, again, to the Bowmore Laimrig, which is a limited release that was very interesting. I have the first batch here, and it was not planned like that, and the cork broke, so I had to replace it. But to an indie Bowmore, sorry, from Berry Bros, which is, even if I have an older one that's even better. But it was not, if I did compare this Mac-Talla to this, wouldn't be fair, because this is a 23 years old, and it is absolutely stunning. And I suppose this is 10 to 15 years old, not more. So won't be fair, because I mean, it's next level. Right, let's get, what else can I say about this one? I think I told you everything. I suspect it's a Bowmore, but I can't be 100% sure. It's Sherry Butts, yes. And the blender is Graham McKitty, so kudos to him, head of whiskey, because he does a great job. Where's the glass? It's the 4th of the 6th. We're gonna try. Yeah, I'm trying to giving you the maximum experience to judge, to make your idea on mine. Sticky legs, again, natural color, staying quite a long time, so I don't believe it's, some people who reviewed that said it's a very young Bowmore. I don't think so. I might be wrong. I think it has a minimum of 8 to 10, and maybe it has older casks in it. I would really love to see the breakdown, because I scratched my head a long time to guess the age, and it's probably a multi-vintage, which is my favorite. Small batch multi-vintage, it's my favorite recipe for a whiskey, unless it's a phenomenal single cask, right? Just my opinion. The nose changed quite a bit. It's opened up for an hour now. It's way more gentle than in the opening, where it was very aggressive and beautiful, but quite aggressive, and I was a bit disturbed. So yeah, chimney, it oscillates for me between chimney fire and bonfire, so some outdoor elements and indoor elements, some sooty, very closed elements of peat smoke, also some reddish fruity elements coming from of course the sherry casks. It's a way more tamed now and way more subtle, way more cooler than at the beginning. Why did I write on this one? Yeah, almost a Ben Romach. I didn't compare it to Ben Romach, to be honest, because I did do it maybe on video, I'm not on the live show, I'm not sure. And honestly, like for the Springbank, there was a big difference between the two Mac-Talla Ben Romach 9 years old cask strength and the Springbank 12 cask strength and the Mac-Talla as well. The rubber. There was a rubber note in the Ben Romach that is not existent in those two, in the Mac-Talla and in the Springbank. Springbank had more leather. This one we're gonna see. Where did I note else? Slightly barbecue feel, dark chocolate, ripe fruit, red fruit, but difficult to distinguish. Bit of underwood notes, some prune, some dates, some dried raisins of different kinds. It's basically what I get from the nose, which is beautiful. The only thing is that Badian star anise note that I don't get, but if I think a bit more about it, the main reason is probably because it's sherried and not bourboned, matured Bowmore, and that's probably the main difference there. So it's a beautiful nose. Let's get on the palate neat. Oh, wow. It's way better than the beginning. I write some notes on, if I read them it will be too long. I just copied them. Basically saying the same thing I just said. Yeah, the word impression of salted caramel has gone now that I had on the palate. In the first takes, I don't see now why I should read that now. Of course it's a bit hot in the apartment. We're around 25 degrees Celsius now, less in the 30 plus. That was unbearable here, especially to taste this kind of whiskies. Maybe it suffered from the heat, I don't know. Didn't have time to refresh all the 6 glasses, and my water is now not fresh. Oh, there's some elegance, there's some floral elegance, which tends to be not violety like we had in some beautiful 90s Bowmores. I'm not talking about the 80s problematic note. This really adds some charm to the profile of this whiskey. And this floral notes, which tends to be maybe some heather mixed with lilac, this speaks for me volumes about the fact that the idea it could be a Bowmore, because this is one of the notes I get at Bowmore that I don't get at Buna or Lagavulin, which I thought so this for me betrays now clearly it could be a Bowmore. Oh, there's some. Now the nose is getting bigger and more complex because I did agitate it a bit. And there's something super elegant with the kind of sugar glazed candied fruit mixed, I mean all kinds, with some almond pastry almost on top of it, but not too sugared. This gives a classy pastry profile to this sherry that's beautiful. Gonna open it up just a bit, then we're gonna compare it. But I'm gonna give you a score. More of this vanilla, caramel fudge, Scottish fudge, and Slightly leafy now. Also betrays some elements from Bowmore. Bit of iodine, no, seaweed, sorry. Very discreet seaweed in there. Oh, more dark chocolate. Oh, this is fantastic. How will I change the score? No, I think I'm going to stick to 91.5 out of 100. So it's not the 92, 93 I thought in the beginning, but it might still change. The profile of this whiskey, to conclude on this, is one of the best Bowmores I came across in the bottling wise, sherried wise, and affordable wise. 106 euros for no age statement is still expensive, but it's cask strength, and it's a complex, very complex whiskey. If you don't have a sherried Bowmore in your collection and you want to have something special, and you can afford 106 or more, probably more now because I think it's sold out. It had a lot of success in the evening, tasting evening. Go for it because it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. And I have the impression it will evolve more spectacularly. There's 20 cl less almost. I mean, how can you review whiskey? I mean, it's like when they take your tension. I learned recently that normally you should be taking your tension 3 times a day. And at the end of the day they're taking your tension, they will do an average between the 3 and conclude about your tension, but not at the beginning. So in a way, this tasting proves once again that maybe you should pre-review the bottle at neck pour, then review it at maybe 25 cl less, and maybe review it when there's only 20. I don't know, but I'm just skipping a few drops in there. I'm gonna move on. It was very difficult to compare it to an official Bowmore. I have a lot of Laphroaig and Bowmore. The initial idea was I did review all my Bowmores in 3 videos if you're interested, by the way. But the initial idea was to do a Laphroaig video with all my Laphroaigs, finishing with the Williamson, but I didn't felt it, and probably I was right because profile is quite different. What do I compare with I'm gonna compare to this. Yes, it's colored, but it's still sherry cask finished. I'm gonna compare this Mac-Talla with what I consider a comparable age and ABV, 53.7. It's a Laimrig, which means pear in Gaelic. It's batch 1, limited release 2012 November, and it's 18,000 bottles. So it's more cask involved, probably 20. Ex-Bourbon and sherry cask finish. The cost in 2012, 70 euros. Now 3 times more, 3 or 4 times more. It's a collector, especially because it's batch 1. Forgot to say that the Mac-Talla comes with this tube with a lot of explanations, but it's a more general baking spices, Christmas, reminiscence of Christmas, pit fire burning in the background. It's basically what I said. The official notes of the Mac-Talla. For the Laimrig, there's a tube as well. A lot of stuff explained about Islay. Now about this series, it's coming from number 1 votes, of course, the legendary maturation warehouse of them under sea level. Finish its long 15 years maturation in hand-selected Spanish sherry casks. Not much more than that we can learn. My advice, I wanted to say, if you're a fan of Bowmore, you're looking for in auction 2005, circa 2005 bottlings. If you have a beautiful, I know you will complain ABV, coloring, blah blah blah. I don't care. Yes, it's true, but if you can't find, this not this one, but 15 years old, it's called Darkest. The batches from 10 years ago, they're really worth. Also the Mariner. This was really one of my favorite whiskies before. But let's go to this one and see what's going on with this one. So color we cannot really trust because it's artificially enhanced with color, modified, sorry. Oh yeah, but it's beautiful. So this one has a more oxidative Oloroso impact, while the previous one was Oloroso with almost feeling a bit of PX in there. This one comes across as more old school Oloroso. Why? Because it was bottled in 2012, so there's a good chance we still had some old school cask in the warehouse. So yeah, you have almost this old, 2000s, early 2000 Macallan feel on the nose, believe me or not. And it's not that smoky and peaty. It's very little on the nose. Now, of course, it was a bit more at the beginning, but it's less smoky and peaty. I haven't opened this for several years. Oh. Yeah, red fruit, some bit sour fruits as well, pruneau in French, plum. There's less dark chocolate, there's a bit of red fruit as well, kind of crushed all red berries together and strawberries and raspberries. It's a bit shocking even on the nose. Let's see on the palate how it translates. Oh wow. Yeah, there's more dark chocolate now. Wow. It's less aggressive than the beginning. Of course, it's the last half, the last quarter. Yeah, the quarter less. Yeah, 25 cl maybe. That's beautiful. And let's put a bit more Mac-Talla, because there are some similarities now, I think. Because yeah, I haven't diluted yet, I think. So I gotta compare with undiluted Mac-Talla. So Mac-Talla, and yeah, it's a bit darker, but I think it's caramel coloring. But maybe more long matured casks, sherry cask, I think, in the Laimrig. Oh, on the nose, there's more dark chocolate in there, and there's more bits sweet and sour Oloroso, and more oxidation going on there. Old school, more modern sherry, darker with some licorice, a bit of sulfur now. Yeah, some green elements there. There is the Laimrig. Let's compare the two. Oh, Mac-Talla is gorgeous. Might go to 92 someday. Wow. The water. I don't have my notes for this one on hand for the Laimrig. Wow. It's beautiful as well, but it's different. It's here what I would say, this is probably very expensive in auction now because it's batch one. Both are beautiful, both are worth chasing. But if you like me, a bit of sexy flower notes. Not aggressive, not overwhelming violet stuff. Don't think of that. The Mac-Talla is probably more complex. I don't know, not more complex, but maybe more seductive. Now, that said, let's try the Laimrig with a few drops. Maybe it would change. And then we'll conclude with the 1994 Berry Bros. I initially didn't think to cover there because I already reviewed it, but some flowers starting there too. I mean, they're quite close. This one has some je ne sais quoi, as we say here. I don't know what's something different and old school that the Mac-Talla doesn't have. I guess it has a bit more depth as well because it's probably 15 years, maybe some casks are even older in the mix. While the Mac-Talla, I feel it doesn't come across as more than 15 years old, and probably a mix of 8 to 12 or 15. But both are fantastic whiskies, very, very good whiskies, over 90 out of 100 easily. Yeah, this one is beautiful. If you can find it, I'm not sure. I've tried this following batches, 2, 3, 4. The 3 was beautiful, then the 4 was less a fan. Now let's go to this one whose cork broke. So this is a range, this is a Berry Bros and Rudd release, bottled exclusively for La Maison du Whisky. This is called the Retro Label range. This was used decades ago, if not early 20th century in Berry Bros and Rudd bottlings. But this came back in the 2000s. This is a 2008 release. This is bottled 54.5. The writing is very small, I have to complain. It's a sherry cask 1685. You'll find all the details in the description again. This is a 14 years old. Like I said, I have his older brother, which is absolutely crushing, 23 years old. If you want to know more about these ones, again, go to see my Bowmore videos. I don't think someone did analyze as much as, I don't know, 12, 15 bottles or more in 3 videos like me. It's not very much seen. People are not patient to see that, but there's a lot of work and feedback on a lot of bottles given by me in these videos and in others too. Maybe someday, if you have time, it might be worth checking out. Just saying again. So the back label explains a bit of the Bowmore. I'm not going to go into that. Like I said, you can maybe read it. It's yeah, I had a chance to visit 2 times the headquarters at 3 St. James Street in London. I really recommend a visit, even if they have changed the setup a bit over the years. Yeah, I'm going to rinse my... I still have the 2. So beautiful. And forgot to bring on biscuits. So before you say it, why it's so full, because it has a few scratches of oak, of the cork in there, and it's not good. Sticky legs again. This I'm gonna keep a bit for later on, maybe mix it with other whiskies for a home blend, because I don't want to put this back on the bottle. There's a lot of lots of stuff you can see in it from the cork. But yeah, let's see what this one says. Oof, it's the oak is sharper, way sharper than the 2. Of course, it's a single cask, which makes a lot of difference. Very sharp oak, not super pleasant. It's a sherry cask, but the oak comes across. But also there's some character of Bowmore that in the underground there's some leafy typical characters of the old Bowmores. Ooh. Not only prunes, but maybe some apricots, some kumquats now. Very surprised. I didn't, yeah. Kumquats, maybe some... Ah, this is weird. I didn't have this note before. Because I had to shake it a lot to, to filter it, etc. And it has quite opened up. As you can see, it's not drunk a lot. I had to open it to check the cork a few years ago. Yeah, it's opening up. Anyway, I have to move on to the palate. But very surprising notes now. Very exotic, not coming across as a Bowmore from now. Ooh, very rich, very dense sherry. Much more dense than in the two previous one. Very thick, concentrated mouthfeel around kind of tight, bit tannic sherry, but still beautiful. It's rich chocolate, rich ripe fruit. There's something almost springbank in there, given the concentration of the ripe fruit, minus of course the Campbelltown funk. Haha. Ooh. Oh, the smoke is very subtly coming again on the background. Wow, in waves. A rich mouthfeel coating all the palate. 54.5. It's thicker, way thicker than the Mac-Talla, and both with the Laimrig. It's the thickest of the three. It's almost jammy, but a jam of very ripe fruit. It can be disturbing for people who are used to gentle Bowmore, official Bowmore, and 10 years old indie low ABV Bowmore. This is very thick. This is special. Yeah, this is different. I'm gonna open up a bit and stop the video before we get to 2 hours. Yeah, I know. But this has been compressed after that for several hours. But let me tell you now that I have fiber, this takes only 5 to 10 minutes now to upload. This is crazy. So I won a bit of time. Wow. Chimney fire in a big house. Maybe some keepers in the background. Some seafood. But oh my god, this is super sherried and old school sherried a bit. This one you have to dig for it and wait. It probably is going to move even more when it's going to get down, but this is gorgeous. I understand why I bought it. Right, so there you have it. My take on Morrison Scotch Whisky Distillers, 2 different bottlings, and what it takes to compare them to indie and official bottlings. Hope you find that interesting. Let me know in the comments what you think of these releases, or if you tried any other Morrison whiskies you'd like to advise me and my viewers, and also other maybe indie or OB bottlings you consider as worth checking out, Bowmore and Laphroaig wise. Of course, it's all about Islay, so I had to pull off this shirt by whiskey.com. I paid it, so it's just they made some very cool whiskey.com, the Germans, the Lüning family. They do some nice t-shirts you can find on the site. So yeah, let me know, please, as always, like, subscribe, all that jazz. If you wish to be my patron, I have only one, thanks to him, very brave Toby Whiskey Shirt. Check out his channel, please. And every now and then some people, €5 there, 5 there. Please, there's a link in the description for Buy Me a Coffee platform. It will be helpful because the website is expensive to still maintain, buying bottles, you know, all that jazz. Anyway, do what you think is okay for you, and see you next time, probably in 15 days, in 2 weeks. If the heat waves come back, I might skip a week or two, we'll see, I don't know. I have a lot of things to cover still. 15, 18 lore, a lot of Laphroaig still to cover. The Bowmore, it's done now. I don't know when I will buy a new Bowmore. I don't know. There's so many other whiskies on the list. Have a nice weekend and see you soon. Bye bye. Thanks for watching again. Merci beaucoup.